What's up, world, and welcome to another CMJ World Vlogs. I am August C. Jones, and today I got two subjects I wanted to talk about. More has happened on the John Campea front, on the John Campea show, and then I'm going to be talking about the new name change of HBO Max to the underwhelming Max. And so with that said, let's go ahead and get into the first thing. I was going back and forth with myself because after putting out the first video of the whole John Campea situation with Robert Meyer Burnett and Chris Carr, and I kind of said everything I needed to say up in that video. There wasn't anything really too much that I needed to add, and I didn't want to keep making videos like this because I didn't want to be one of them channels where I'm just constantly talking about other YouTubers. You know, it's not something that I felt like I needed to do. I wanted to definitely keep this channel at talking about, you know, movies, shows, music, and all the other things that encompasses entertainment. But a new development that I just kind of wanted to touch on. I'm not gonna try and make this too long, but I'm gonna just talk about it, get my thoughts out, and then move on to the next subject because I got another thing I wanted to talk about. The new development that happened was that John was like a few days ago or last week came out and he said that like he screwed over Robert Meyer Burnett, that he said that he didn't want, no, I'm just playing. Anyway, that his assistant Taylor Gonzalez, like last week was like his last week. He made this whole big speech and then bam, that was it. And certain things that people were pointing out and certain things that are still kind of odd when it comes to the whole John Campea situation is that, for one, and this, I feel like this whole thing really kind of is a non-issue, but this really is a non-issue. Even though it does have like a little suspicion to it, how he basically went through the whole show, no inkling of Taylor leaving, no starting off the show, oh, this is a very special episode because Taylor is leaving, so we gotta da-da-da. But he chose to address it at the end of the show. I don't think it's really a big deal, but it is weird that if, more than likely, if it was somebody else, like say Chris Carr, he probably would have addressed it at the beginning of the video and talked about how this is her last day and she's going to do this, she's going to do that. Rob was kind of a different thing, but it was weird that he did do it at the end of the show. But I look at it as a non-issue. It's whatever. Taylor wasn't really a major part of the show as far as on-air talent, only recently, but that's neither here or there. The one thing that is glaring about the whole Taylor thing is, for one, John was talking about for about a month or so, maybe a couple months back, about CinemaCon, about how, you know, how much it costs and everything else, and how he was going to take certain people there. I think Chris is going with him. I think Robert was going with him. I think he still is. And, you know, maybe like a couple other people, Ray or whatever, but he was taking people with him. He was paying for all of it. And it's weird how Taylor, who is John's assistant, he put out a GoFundMe to, you know, have people help him with buying his tickets to go there. And it's like, it's so weird because if you were the assistant to John Campea and he's paying for essentially at least half of the John Campea show to go, why wasn't you part of that group? What was going on there? Like, I feel like maybe this was months in the making. Maybe he told John that, you know, it's going to be a few months like later that he's going to leave, or he's going to leave in this month. And I don't know, it's weird. It's just, when you put the puzzle pieces together, it is weird that he would pay for all the other people that's a part of his show that's going, but he wouldn't pay for Taylor, and he had to literally like ask people to give him money so that he can go. Because you would think out of anybody that's gonna go, of course the co-hosts that like are there with you are gonna go because they're gonna help you provide like content on your channel. But your assistant, the person that helps you on a day-to-day, that does so much for you, that you built up, is the greatest assistant ever, you don't pay for him to go to CinemaCon with y'all. Like, that's odd to me. It's just so odd. Like, the assistant would be a no-brainer. Like, you're going. Like, as long as you're my assistant, like, you're going. So they got me thinking, like, maybe he put in his notice a couple months in advance and told him, like, yeah, I'm gonna be leaving the channel, blah. And so he just chose not to pay for him, because if you're not gonna be working for me around that time, well, I'm gonna pay for your ticket. Which, when you think about it that way, it makes sense. I'm not going to go into detail of why Taylor is leaving, but one of the things that was kind of like glaring to me was Taylor leaving. Now, Taylor was just really an on-air talent, just within the past few months, just fairly recently. And he's choosing to leave the channel so that he can build up his own channel. But it's like, why wasn't you really trying to do that while you were with John? Like, you're leaving the channel. You wasn't a big on-air presence. You're not a Chris Carr. Robert Ryan Burnett, he's a different type of person, but you're not even a Chris Carr or Aaron Cummins, who had a lot of speaking time on the show to where people are really familiar with you and like you enough to where it's like, I'm gonna follow you. It's like you're leaving the channel when you're just really started recently getting on camera, and now you're going to build up your own channel. I don't know how much of that is going to follow him from the John Campea show over to his new channel, to as far as subscribers and views. I'm pretty sure it's going to do major numbers for him, but I don't think it's going to like build it up that huge to where he's going to like just skyrocket to the stars. And then even on top of that, how long will it last? Will it be like a month or so, and then people are going to forget about him, or you know, just whatever? So it's just kind of odd that he would leave and the excuse is to work on his channel when you haven't truly built up a true presence on the John Campea show to make it to where it's like people will follow you. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like if I'm going to leave a channel like that, I'm going to want to have such a presence that when people follow me, it's going to be a major thing. I'm going to have a major bump in subscribers. But I mean, maybe I could be possibly wrong, because he, as of like today, he reached his goal. So he's going to CinemaCon, and he put out a thing addressing that this is the reason why he's leaving. So I mean, maybe we all could be wrong. We're overthinking a lot of stuff, but I mean, when stuff doesn't seem right, you know, a lot of us just can't keep it inside. We got to talk about it. So I don't know. I feel like, you know, if you know Taylor is doing his own thing, good for him. You know, hopefully he reached the amount of success that he needs or that he wants. Hopefully whatever John is doing on his channel, it works out, and he can, you know, retire by, you know, whatever day he wants to retire by. But other than that, you know, I don't know. Like, I think I'm kind of getting tired of talking about this. Unless something truly substantial comes out about the whole situation. Like Rob comes out and he puts John on blast, or Taylor puts John on blast, or something like that. I think this is gonna probably be the last time we'll be talking about this. I'm kind of getting bored. You know, it's kind of slowly dying out. Even though new stuff has came out, it's slowly kind of dying out. Like, I think this gonna probably be my last video, unless something major just presents itself. But other than that, that's really all I gotta say about it. I just hope the best for Taylor. I hope the best for John and everything that he's doing, or everything that they're doing, and we just going about our day. And so, with that said, that ends that talk about that. Hey, what's up? So yeah, I've seen that you made it this far. Obviously, you like this video, so go ahead and hit that like button. I mean, just go ahead and do it. You know you want to do it, hit that subscribe button as well. And with that said, let's go ahead and go over to the next subject. I'm going to be talking about the new name change of HBO Max. This came out, I mean, it was a big thing recently, but they came out and they said it last year. The name was going to change and that they were going to call it Max. Which to me, just right off the top, was just such a stupid name to call their service. But in my heart, I'm thinking like, maybe it's a placeholder. Maybe they're just gonna call it Max for right now until they get a better name. But apparently that's not the issue. Apparently they're going forward with the name change being Max. And it's stupid to me because you're a multi-billion dollar company, and you have enough money to put behind a group of people to try and come up with a way better name. Like, honestly, it won't even take that much thought. Either you can still keep it simply as HBO Max, but I guess now, because they're integrating with Discovery Plus inside of that streaming service now, that they want to call it something else besides HBO Max, and that way it's the, you know, combination of both. And I get that, but Max is really what you could come up with. Like, what? It just doesn't, like, there's no thought in that. Like, you have enough money to pay people to come up with good names, and you don't put that money into play. You just don't. I don't understand it. I mean, you simply could have gone with the name of the company, Warner Discovery, because anything that gets put on there are going to belong to Warner Brothers or Discovery Channel. So it will make sense to call it Warner Discovery. It's not the most unique name. It's not like the greatest name of all time, but it literally states what it has in there. You're going to find stuff from Discovery as well as going to find stuff from Warner Brothers. But Max seems like a thing that Cinemax probably would have done. And it makes sense for Cinemax to call themselves Max because Cinemax is in the name. And it's not just a new streaming service that they had out. This has always been their name, Cinemax. And to name a streaming service just called Max or The Max would make sense for them, not for HBO. You're taking a well-known IP like HBO out the title and just calling it Max. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not going to be confusing. People aren't going to go losing their minds over like, oh my God, what happened to HBO? Do I still got HBO? What is this Max? Da, da, da. But it's some people that may not have it are going to look at it like, what the hell is Max? Then you're going to have to reintroduce it. And with the tagline that they had before, the one place to watch HBO. Retarded. If you're going to have that tagline, why didn't you just keep HBO in the title? Then they want to change it to the one place to watch or the one to watch or something like that. It was just, oh my God, like, I don't know, like, it's retarded. I just don't understand it. Like, to me, I have to like put that out there. Like, I'm not a business person. I don't own businesses. I don't know the ins and outs of businesses and everything, but I do know how certain things work. I do know that even though the title or the name of something isn't the end all be all, you're not going to disregard something because it has a bad name. Though the name does add a lot to it, and just even besides like it having a popular IP like HBO or whatever, like even if you were giving it a just off the wall name, let's just say Unique Plus, you know, something like that. I don't know, I'm just saying, it has to be something that's catchy. It has to be something that when people hear it, it has to catch a person's interest of what is this. And it goes the same thing for like movie titles, story titles. That's why it's certain authors, I'm pretty sure in certain parts of like their writing and coming up with these books and stories, that they didn't come up with a title right then and there. They had to think about it, like, what is the name of this story? Like, what is a good title? And they probably go through different titles. And it's the same with movies. Like, before Scream was called Scream, they called it Scary Movie as a placeholder before they got down on Scream. And there's plenty of other movies that probably went along with that. So it's like, it was cool to have it as a placeholder, but to have it as the set name, just ridiculous. Just utterly ridiculous. But I mean, the name doesn't make or break it because it's still gonna pull in new subscribers. People are still gonna stay there. People aren't gonna be pissed off just because it's called Max now and not HBO Max. It's not gonna be that big of a deal. But I just thinking, like, why couldn't they just come up with a better name? It throws me for a loop. Warner Discovery would have did perfectly fine, but I mean, it is whatever. They're changing, the name is not immediately, they're changing it on May 23rd. I don't know if we would ever get used to that name, but that's what they wanted to come up with. That's what they chose, and that's what we're gonna have to call the streaming service from now on. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna wrap this up. I feel like HBO Max is actually pretty good, because with all the other streaming services having plus at the end of it, which is getting old. You got Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, Discovery Plus. I don't like it. But anyway, I felt like HBO Max, using a different word for their streaming service name, was good. But I didn't know that they were going to reduce it down to that extra word. But whatever. I mean, we have to live with that. But in any case, that wraps up my thoughts on that. And so that is a wrap for CMJ World Vlogs. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And if you did, go ahead, leave a like if you haven't yet. I don't know why you haven't. And subscribe if you're not. And hit that notification bell for more videos like this. I'm doing a lot of CMJ World Vlogs, and I don't want you to miss out on it, especially if it's something that you want to hear my thoughts on. So with that said, I will catch you guys later. Peace out and stay safe.